We're waiting for the light to come on.
I'd like to pass a resolution if we can, that Pat did it.
You won't be on TV. If you don't speak, you won't be on TV.
But how do we get the?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no.
All right, everybody's here? Welcome to the, it's March 11, 2020, Mayor and Council meeting. If you look at your cell phones, please put them on mute or turn them off, as long as they're silenced. Also, I ask that you please refrain from texting. It's discourteous, disruptive, and if you start texting anybody up here or there's a lot of texting going on, it could be construed as a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act. At this time, I ask you, first a roll call.
Mayor Schwager?
Yes.
Councilman Bialy?
Here.
Councilman Knapp?
Here.
Councilman Levy?
Here.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Here.
Councilman Talamini absent. Councilman Van Eck?
Here.
Motion to excuse Councilman Talamini?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please stand, salute to the flag, remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. And my mayor's report, I'm going to start with what I learned today, yesterday, the day before. Was it last week? The governor had a conference call to talk about the coronavirus, which is called COVID-19, and I found out today from one of my seminars that I attended that COVID, COVID-19 stands for CO for corona, VI for virus, D for December, and 19 because it's really starting December 2019. So that's a little tidbit, just a little brevity, levity and all this and this nonsense. But today I attended the meeting at the Senior Center. It was very informative. We had a speaker from the county health department. Thank you, Pat. It was sponsored by the Oakland Board of Health, and it was just extremely informative. There was a PowerPoint, a demonstration, question and answers. The next time they're having the presentation is going to be Tuesday night, March 17th. That's next Tuesday, 5:30, right in this room in council chambers, also known as the court. After I attended the seminar at the Senior Center, I went over to Borough Hall to participate in the conference call that the county did with the county executive, James Tedesco. We also had the county health officer, Hansel Asmar, and the OEM county coordinator to talk about what's going on. Both the state and the county have issued and declared a state of health emergency in our state, and it's pursuant to a state statute, NJSA, in case anybody's listening, NJSA 26:13, that gives them the right to do certain things since they declared it a state of health emergency. In Bergen County, there are 10 known cases already. In New Jersey, 23. And in the United States, 1,039. But when you think about it, and in Bergen County, 3 in Englewood, 1 in Fort Lee, 2 in Bergenfield, 3 in Teaneck, 1 in Little Ferry. The person in Little Ferry did die, but they're saying that he had so many medical problems. He had 2 heart attacks right before, he had a stroke, he had respiratory illnesses, so even though he was 69, it was more related to his state of health. And they say the younger you are, the better it is to fight it because your immune system is better. But if you have a good immune system, they also said that there are more flu cases and more deaths from the flu than from this virus. But it's because the reason why we're in such a panic is because they do not have a vaccine. And that's the big problem. But they're saying if you feel like you're getting symptoms, please do not go to a doctor's office and sit in a waiting room. Call them ahead of time, and don't go to the emergency room. Hackensack Hospital, Meridian Health has online, you can call them and be screened online. Newbridge, the county hospital, they have an online call that you can call to find out the symptoms, fever, and cold symptoms, but mostly the fever, and you feel like you really do have a bad cold or a flu. They suggested you stay away from mass gatherings. There were so many things they talked about, but it's here. And we can't panic, but we have to, just be prepared and play safe. You don't see people hugging and kissing much anymore. It really comes through the face, through the mouth, the nose, and the eyes. And I heard a very interesting statistics that you don't realize how many times your hands touch your face in an hour. And so try to, what?
23.
So, oh, you know. Tony Smith knows.
No, he has nothing to do, he counts.
Oh. Thank you, Tony. But after you shake hands, don't start rubbing your face. People tend to do that. If you're going to sneeze or cough, they say put your hands on your part of your arm. But I was yelling at Richard earlier because he was coughing, and he was coughing with his arm up. I said, but no, they said you have to touch it. He says you have to be able to do that. So there were so many things to read about, but I would suggest you come to the March 17th presentation right here in Council Chambers, 5:30. Fascinating. Like I said, there's a PowerPoint demonstration, and everything you want to know about it is there. The most important thing right now is that there are stores, retailers, online merchants who are doing price gouging. And the county is warning everyone. If you go into a store and all of a sudden you know the standard prices and it's more than 10% higher than what the regular price has been, that place is price gouging. And here is the phone number if you know of any retailer, online, any merchant. The phone number to call. Now, it's the Consumer Affairs in Bergen County, but the Bergen County Consumer Affairs Office takes care of Bergen County and Passaic County. So here is the phone number, 201-336-6400. Again, this is the Consumer Affairs Office. If you are any place where they're doing price gouging, meaning there's 10% higher than the regular standard price, that's 201-336-6400. Say it again, 201-336-6400. It's very important to notify Consumer Affairs if that happens. We don't want the consumer to be taken advantage of, especially when you're vulnerable, when you think you need certain medications or you need certain things. Remember the mask that you can just buy, which you can't buy because they're out of it everywhere. It doesn't help you to prevent getting it. It only helps the person who has it from passing it on. So the mask is useless unless you buy these, what is it called? What is the mask? The D90. 95? 1090, yeah. Those are the only masks that really count because the masks are porous and there's holes around it, so it doesn't help. And if you do have contact with someone and have the symptoms and then you put the mask on, it's making it worse because it's helping contain it within your face. So that's what I learned.
Linda, one thing on that. In order to keep within the parameters of the suggestions of how to prevent it from spreading, do you think the Tuesday 17th meeting should be televised rather than put a bunch of people in here and violate?
We actually, the OCC was actually receptive to
Yes.
doing that. However, Bergen County asked that it not be televised. They said because there's information that is changing, and they don't want something to be out there, in a week or two, maybe inaccurate.
It might be
so-
old
So
hat.
they did not want it to be televised.
So you
better put a
just
light
make it,
on in
remember,
space.
stay away from mass gatherings. Okay. Some good things coming. The Flow Film Festivals are continuing. Those are the movies. On March 20th, it will be in Oakland at the Oakland Library, 7 p.m. And it's the Flint, Michigan story, Voices of a Poison City. And on March 26th, it's at the Wyckoff Library at 7 p.m. And the film is Microtopia. And questions and answers will be held. March 19th, if you're interested, on March 19th at 6:30, the Assemblyman Orth put this together. He's at the Westwood Community Center to talk about the DOT and commuter transportation. And the following save the dates are Easter egg hunt on April 4th, and more information will continue. Shredding Day in Oakland is Saturday, May 2nd at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the municipal lot. And on Sunday, May 3rd, is the Bergen County Care Fair. And that's, well, these are all tentative right now, of course, at FDU, the Rothman Center at Bailey Dickinson, which is closed right now. So keep watching. You know, all these things could change. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would anyone wish to speak? This is your turn. Oh, please, just give your name and address.
Michael Sonino, 97 Summerall Ave, Mayor and Council, good evening. I met with you 2 months ago.
Yes, you did.
You may recall, I brought in a bunch of photographs of my neighbor's retaining wall, which has collapsed into my property. Their fence is on my property. If you recall this situation, I'd like to report that Mr. Whittakind did call me the next day. However, he promised that with his new assistant, he would have the situation dealt with in 2 weeks. And he
Are
would
you
know-
telling me it's 2 weeks?
I'm telling you, it's been 2 months.
So, Mr.
So
Kines.
what happened was, he contacted me and said that they were definitely in need of repairing the wall. He gave me some information about removing the fence independently and notified me that he would notify the police department so that if the neighbor called the police when I was disassembling the property, the fence that's on my property, they would be aware of it to avoid too much commotion. And he assured me that this would all be taken care of within 2 weeks. So about 5 weeks later, I called the office, I got no return call. I tried several times that week and I got no response. Then I received a response from the new woman.
He's writing.
Oh, great, I'm sorry, should I slow
No,
down?
no, he's writing for yours.
Okay, so the new hire contacted me. I spoke with her briefly, in which she had really no information for me, just that Mr. Whittakind had asked her to call me. I asked her what the status was, she said she didn't know. I said that it had been about 6 weeks at that time, and I'd like to know if they've been notified that they need to make these corrections. I have a boulder that's about 1,000 pounds, that's literally hanging on a thread, right next to the structure of the decking. So we don't even go on the deck at this point. She said, all I can tell you is he's working on it. We're very busy and I'm being trained. I accepted that response, I thanked her, I hung up the phone, and I waited, what was that, several more weeks. So now we're at basically 2 months.
Richard,
I've
listening.
will you follow up with this?
I've called the office 3 times this week, twice today. I did receive, she did answer the phone once, and when I spoke to her, she said she had no information for me. I asked if Mr. Whittakind was available. She said he's in the building. I'll go ask him the status and I'll call you back. She never called me back. So I waited 2 days and then I called again today. I left a message, I got no call back. And then I called again, it went straight to voicemail. I hit 0 and someone answered. And I said, could you please connect me to Mr. Whittakind? They said, well, he only works part-time, but I'll put you through to a female's name. I'm sorry, I don't recall it. They put me through.
That was you?
And I
And
connected him to Jeannie, who's
Jeannie is the,
the assistant.
that went
person.
straight to voicemail as well. And I asked her if she would
She
kindly
called
call
time?
me back, and she did not call either. So I do have the property maintenance codes, everything is highlighted in yellow. All of this is what pertains to the standards that are set up by this town that should be held, in high regard. These things are the laws that we have here. And I feel like they're just being taken very, very lightly by that
Well,
department.
one thing that's important is that you should get the courtesy of a return call. And she is full-time?
Yes.
Could you please follow up
Yeah, I'll
tomorrow?
follow up
He will follow up tomorrow, and does he have your number? Does Richard have your
I-
contact information?
Sir, do you
Okay, so
always
why
sit
don't
in the
I-
end seat?
Yeah, but when you're done, why don't you give it to me again, please?
Go over there and give him
Because
a...
I had left, he said he didn't have, the girl said I hadn't seen any of the pictures. I haven't seen your site plan. She said I had no idea there was a fence.
Richard will follow
So,
up. Give all your personal information. Don't announce it.
all right.
Go
I'm
over
sorry
to
to waste
Richard
your
now.
time. I'm sorry to
No,
be
don't be
back and
silly,
forth.
no.
You're not wasting
Again,
As I said, you
It's
deserve...
even a little embarrassing
No.
to have to keep
No,
coming.
and you deserve the
It is
courtesy.
embarrassing.
Embarrassing for us, not
For
you.
us.
You deserve the courtesy at least of return calls when you call. That's important.
Thank you.
Okay, Richard will follow up tomorrow. Don't go over and give your information to him. Hello.
Hello. John O'Connor, 70 Hemlock Street in Oakland. I was appointed to the Flood Commission many years ago.
You've been a wonderful, valuable member.
I'm not rejoining. 30, 40 years
Oh, I can't
ago.
talk you into it?
I do. Councilman Bialy, Councilman Levy have both served on the Flood Commission. The Borough worked in tandem with the Army Corps of Engineers. We finally got the floodgates installed on the river down by the Pompton Dam. They worked wonderfully. I don't think we've had a significant flood since they were installed. So I'm here to talk about something a little bit different. This is still about flooding, but it's about Hemlock Street, and I have spoken to a few of you. In fact, I know the engineer had come down, but we haven't heard anything. And this has gone on for about 2 months, and now we're entering the spring rainy season, and it's getting frightening. There is a borough drainage easement. It's not a stream, it's not a brook. It comes down from the Dogwood area, goes under 202, runs along the south side of the Riverside Nursery driveway, and then cuts across Hemlock Street. And this is where the problem is, because up until that point, it's downhill. When it cuts across the property, and then Hemlock Street, and then the old Sandy Beach property, it's flat. There are trees, limbs. These are my neighbors, except for Tony Smith, who is on the Flood Commission currently.
Also forever.
Right, forever. But we're all very concerned about it. There are 7 homes that are between this drainage easement and the river. And again, the river is not the flooding problem now. The problem is going to be this drainage easement.
I thought our engineer was keeping us current with what's going on. He was down there, you talked about that.
I sent Ms. O'Connor an email this past Monday, and you thanked me for your reply.
But what,
And I reported
what,
we are waiting for the return of written permission to enter the private property at 56 Spruce Street. The borough attorney sent a right of access agreement a
That's
week
you.
ago
but if
today.
we have an easement, why do we
We
need
will
permission?
follow up with the property owners
We
this
have no
week.
right to access that property. So that was let me put on my mic.
All right, wait, our borough attorney will give us the legal end.
Right, so I'm just looking, it looks as though Thursday, February 20th, or Friday, February 21st, we did send out the access agreement regarding the property. The information regarding the property was obtained from John. That was sent out, I believe, but I don't have it with me. We did a follow-up letter because we didn't hear. It's been approximately 2.5 weeks since we made that request. We need to get access over that property in order to have the equipment. We have an easement in the area behind the property. We don't have any rights to access through the property.
And who owns the property?
It's Baylor's Properties, I believe.
Yeah, Bayless or,
Wait, I'm looking for that email.
And there is no way to personally go over there and hand them the letter?
I will do that tomorrow.
Well, we did it when we did Allen and Brook. We
The
handed
borough
those
does
out.
own
The,
between.
the address is a Franklin Lakes address.
Yes, it's one of the industrial properties. There is an owner in Franklin Lakes. We did send a letter to them.
So why don't we ask somebody to go there in person with the letter and personally deliver and that is our engineer who just raised his hand and volunteered. As soon as, because since we have the easement, that's not the problem, is getting to the easement, going onto private property. So we're telling him, go deliver the letter in person, get it signed, then we can get the equipment on the property to get to the easement, then it can be taken care of.
What I do want to say also is that the borough owns, because I used to own it and I deeded it to the borough, there's about an acre and a half between Riverside Nursery and Hemlock Street. The borough owns that.
Is that an issue, is that part of?
That's true, yes.
Right. So, I mean, but then it goes under Hemlock Street. So if there's a way to, that the silt needs to be taken out from that area. That's
And
where.
the county will be doing that once we get, they're gonna all do it all in one shot. So once we get this agreement, in one day, they're gonna take that silt out as much as they can without a permit, clean up all those trees. We'll see whatever they don't clean up, we'll take the next steps to clean that up. But they all wanna do it all in one shot. So I'll rattle the cage of this property owner tomorrow.
Thank you.
And I'll physically go to,
I appreciate it.
I might even go to the address in Franklin Lakes and ring the doorbell, as simple as that.
And you might want to tell them also, it's become a garbage dump from those buildings on Spruce Street. Any kind of, they have a dumpster there, but it doesn't do anything because everything blows and it's all over. Take a ride down, you've been there, you've seen
I've been
it.
there 3 times already.
Right, I know you have. So I appreciate it, whatever you can
And
do.
as soon as you get that letter signed,
Mhm.
will you let the neighbors know
Please.
on the Hemlock Street residents? and
Yes, I'm
we can
trying to
move
keep
on?
them informed as
Thank
best
you,
as
I
possible.
know you do, thank you so much.
Would appreciate it.
And we've
Okay.
been working together to,
Yes.
you and I,
Yes.
for the last 5-6 weeks. And I've been passing the information to Rich and to John and Anthony, because we're all involved in this.
Right, Anthony
And they
came in.
created the plan after they went down and inspected it.
Right.
And then we're going through the process of trying to get to the property. And Tom Connolly has also been very helpful in getting the Bergen County Mosquito Commission involved in it, because it's their equipment that will be.
I suspect this is sitting on somebody's piles of paper, and it's being ignored. So,
That's why I'm here.
yes, got it.
Thank you.
Well, John said he'll
Thank
do
you.
it, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Anybody else?
Hi, Kathy Toth, 62 Hemlock Street. So I just want to agree with everything Dot said. My house is right next to this property. There's a lot of dead trees in that property, storms, we hear them coming down. Eventually, I feel it's going to hit our house. Now, we have gone to the town, to the maintenance people. I think his name is Anthony.
Anthony.
We've spoke to him, my husband has gone there, they say they'll work on it. No one's come to take down the dead trees in that piece of property, besides the
Is it
easement
still
there.
the same piece of property?
Yes,
I think we're talking about, rather than just the brook, the entire piece of property.
The entire easement.
Okay.
right, which is, yeah, and the part.
Well, once they can get
part of
in
the
there,
property.
as you
Okay.
heard, it's the access to the easement.
But this piece is not, this is right next to my house, so this has nothing to do.
Is this on borough property?
Yes, this is all borough property. Has nothing to do with the other side of the street.
Does John know what you're talking about?
This is, does this have to do with limbs blocking water, or is it just limbs that are down?
Well, right now, it's limbs that are down, but dead trees in there that come down every time there's a storm. Trees, large trees that come down, which are very close to our house. Now, also, there is a dead tree that is right on the borough property, on the corner of Hemlock, that one of those pileated woodpeckers, whatever you call them, has been tearing at for months now.
Must be noisy.
Yes, and we told the town, and somebody came and put a yellow ribbon on it, saying, okay, that tree will come down. It has not come down.
That's shade tree.
Talk to Tony, right there. Talk to Tony.
Well, there's shade tree and there's shade tree.
Okay. And it's like one of those, like 3 trees in one. And it's destroyed this tree from from the woodpecker, and it's been dead. It's been sitting there for months and months, so
So-
no one is doing anything about it.
Excuse me,
So,
Mayor,
could you
can
please have,
62 or
62 hemlock, yes.
and you'll talk to John Yakimic, our engineer, and point out which tree?
Yeah, you can't miss it,
Well,
with all the big holes in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna come down
It's-
on our property.
I'm sorry, just the piece of property you're talking about is between you and the brook, correct?
Yes, and it's town property. Now, it is near wires. Someone came down and said, well, we can't touch it if it's electric wires. It's not. Our electric wires come from the back off of the O'Connor's property. So it's not electric wires. It's probably cable wires. So it is not electric wires.
all right, well, John will take a look, our engineer.
I'll take your information now. when
Right
you leave
after,
the case.
right it, go give
Yeah.
him personal
Okay.
information,
All right.
don't announce it.
No, okay, thank you so much.
And I'll have somebody from Shade Tree go
Yeah.
over and we'll start looking into.
Okay, yes, I said there was a yellow ribbon or something on it that they're gonna look into, but, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, motion to close?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes from February 12th,
So moved.
Second.
any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ness.
Yes.
We have executive session minutes from February 12th, 2020. If there's going to be any discussion, it must be done during executive session. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? If none, roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ness.
Yes.
Under special announcements and appointments, you all received a letter from the C. Verblau and Sons LLC Construction. They're looking for a permit waiver for deck for a soldier. Anybody?
I'll make a motion,
Second.
Well, before you do that, this, when you do this, just be considerate of what the request
Yes.
is. In this instance, we have in the past exempted nonprofit organizations from permit fees, not the entire permit fees, those that would go to the borough. So we do not have a policy presently how we would deal with these requests. We have an informal policy with nonprofits. So although I think the request is a fair request and the purpose is a fair purpose, will this be expanded to other groups, such as senior citizens, those that may be handicapped, whether we're gonna have a means test, for it or not? It's just, I'm not opposed to the request, I just want you to understand that you may get other requests as a result of this.
How much are we talking about?
I'm not
I can
aware.
figure this out. How much is the fee?
The total permit fee was
Oh.
$485, but of that, $40 is the state, so you can't exempt that.
Correct.
What's 25 other?
It's part of the borough's fee.
And so $420 is the building fee? And the deck costs $21,000?
Probably the value.
Who's paying, are they doing this totally free? It was very confusing.
Yeah, it says the labor and materials is donated.
So everything is donated to,
So
he's
perhaps.
100% disabled per Air Force, that means he doesn't pay any
Right.
taxes at all.
So perhaps the way that the motion should read, under the circumstances that all the services are being donated, both the material and the labor, that the borough portion of the permit fee can be waived based upon the circumstances presented.
Yeah, due to the fact that that everything else is being
Correct.
donated, yes.
Right. But we cannot waive the state fee.
Correct.
So it'll be, that $40 has to go to the state, and the $25, what is that?
That one, I don't know what it is.
You don't know what that is.
Other.
Yeah, it's not a state fee.
It's other.
It's an other fee.
Yeah.
And well, the state training fee is $40.
It could be
All right,
zoning.
so we could waive, what we'd be waiving would be the 420.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay, so then let's make the motion read like Brian said, due to the fact that the labor and materials are being donated, the borough is willing to waive the borough part of the fee.
And he did serve our country, and he's 100% disabled.
100% disabled.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Van App.
Yes.
All right, raffle, Rebuilding Together North Jersey, raffle license 1387. It's for a raffle on June 1st, 2020, 7 PM.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolutions, I'll do as a consent agenda. If you want any pulled out, just let me know. 2084 is a liquor license transfer that is being tabled. It's off the table because of, they requested that they're not ready for that. So we cross off 2084 liquor license transfer. 2104, authorized refund of recreation fee in the amount of $100. It's a refund of volleyball registration fees to Lucia Talamini, 33 Seminole Avenue in Oakland. 2105 is the authorized contract amendment for wastewater management plan, not to exceed $35,000. It is a proposal submitted by Boswell Engineering, March 2nd, 2020. 2106 is authorized a contract for sanitary sewer improvements, extra survey work for Block 5002, Lot 38, and a boundary and topographic survey easement preparation for Block 5004, Lot 1, 51, and 52, to Boswell Engineering on a proposal submitted March 3rd, 2020, not to exceed $15,000. 2107, authorized contract water allocation permit to M2 Associates, and the proposal is dated February 28th, 2020, not to exceed $8,500. 2108 is authorized employee wellness program grant submittal of $10,000 from Bergen Municipal Health Insurance Fund to start the employee wellness program. 2109 is readopt the land use pledge. As you can all read, it's the land use pledge. 2110, readopt the green building policy that we have in our borough. 2112, authorize grant application for Roots for Rivers Reforestation Grant Program from Sustainable Jersey, and it's in conjunction with Sustainable Oakland Green Team Committee, Oakland Shade Tree Commission, DEP Watershed Ambassador Program, and the grant is application for Roots for Rivers Reforestation Grants Program. 2113 is authorized the grant application for the COPS hiring program, and it's open to law enforcement agencies, and it is a hiring program, and the grant requested amount is $125,000. 2114 is to authorize refund of taxes due to payment error. This is for block 1401/28, that's lot 28, address 35 Sky Top Ridge, and the amount of $4,203.54, and a check to be sent to Coralogic Refunds Department in Irving, Texas. And 2116, that was 115? Did I miss one? That's 114.
12115.
I don't have 115 here.
It's on the computer.
115 is refund tax overpayment of block 1805, lot 4, 29 Hillside Avenue, in amount of $30, and it's a request from Tower Capital Management. 2116 is authorizing expenditure from the Capital Improvement Fund for preliminary expenses, sewer, infrastructure project phase 2, and in the amount of $35,000. And that is it. Anybody wish to pull any out?
2110.
Readopt the green building policy. Everybody pull out 110. Any others? If not, I'll make I'll accept motion for.
Second.
Second, there was a second?
It's 2 seconds, which
Then
is
there was
probably like a
all right,
third.
roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Vinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ness.
Yes.
All right, 2110, Councilman Van Eck wishes to pull out, readopt green building policy.
So
Yes.
I didn't see much supporting document for this policy, just this resolution that's here without many details. It mentions a checklist. It does say in here there's some voluntary things that we set leadership, but just want a better understanding, with these percentages and everything here of what we would actually be held accountable to or hold the private sector
Did you rank the
accountable to
resolution?
as a result of that.
Richard?
This resolution was originally adopted back in 2011 when the borough first sought certification through the Sustainable Jersey program. It's my understanding that it's simply kind of a statement of policy intent. It doesn't require you necessarily to do anything. There's no regulatory standards that you're going to be held to by doing it.
Then why do it?
Well, it's kind of a statement of the, policy of the council or the goals of the council, a statement of support for greening initiatives, and it's, honestly, we did it the first time around to get certification points through Sustainable Jersey, so we can be certified bronze. It's something that the councils have chosen to readopt ever since.
Do we get any points, or does it have any benefit by readopting it this year?
It will help us get to the silver level of certification by doing this. It's 10 points.
And what does that get us?
It gets you recognition. It gets you the ability to apply for grants for other initiatives that we choose to engage in.
Do we receive any grants
We have
for having the silver level for adopting policies like this?
Well, right now we're at bronze,
We're at bronze,
so we're trying to get to silver. I'm trying to think if we've gotten one. I think we did get one, so a relatively
We're very,
small
I thought we are,
Yeah.
I thought we
Well,
were
we're
very
presently
close.
applying for the community garden grant, and that's under
That
Sustainable
one's,
New Jersey.
yes. Yes.
That's our current.
And that would have made a difference by passing something like this?
I
Are you opposed to
can't
this?
tell you.
I'm opposed to regulating and choking business and development ever, but without details, I don't know if that's what this does. It's just, to me, very vague as to what this is, but it raises a red flag to me when we're going to say that, we're going to restrict ourselves in certain things, and I'm all for getting points, and maybe it's symbolic, but without more details, it's hard for me to support something without specifics.
All right. Anybody else?
Again, if it's going to help us get points, sure, we could do it, but maybe not this, or something at least with some more details.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we vote on it? More than likely it'll pass, but Rich, maybe, can somebody get some supporting details so we can at least educate ourselves on it?
We can send you the information that's on the Sustainable Jersey website that describes the action and the intent of it, and that may help, give you a better understanding of it.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
just hope, okay, thank
Is
you.
there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Vinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ness.
No.
Okay, moving on to introduction of 20 Code 805, prohibits short-term rentals. It was tabled, so we need a vote to remove from the table.
So moved.
Second.
Can I have some discussion on this? And
Yes.
I apologize, I was not here at the last
Well,
meeting.
well,
We only
table.
removed it from the table.
Right, but
Before
before,
I move it from the table.
oh, yes, correct, we gotta move it, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes.
I
Okay, roll
jumped,
call.
I jumped the gun.
All right, so this is just the roll call to put it back on the back on discussion.
Yes.
Okay, Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Vinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ness.
Yes.
Now,
Okay, now
Now-
subsequent to the February meeting, which I wasn't at, we had this on for introduction, and we also had for discussion
the zoning ordinances. Councilman Van Eck had certain issues with regard to the short-term rental ordinance and the like, and he wanted to propose those at a work session regarding what we have as proposed in ordinance 805 is an absolute ban of rentals under 30 days. There are other alternatives which I believe merit a discussion at a work session, and that is my suggestion, that at the next meeting, both this ordinance and the ordinance regarding the zoning be put on the work session. I consider those zoning amendments more important than this short-term rental ordinance, so I'd ask that it not only be listed on for discussion, but perhaps introduction. Only the zoning, not the short-term rental. Grant,
So
did
how
I
do we
get
do
that?
this?
Did I get that correct?
Yes, thank you,
All
Brian.
right.
Also known as Airbnb?
Yes. So my suggestion is that the ordinance be retabled with the proviso that it be discussed as a work session item at the next meeting prior to being removed from the table.
So I need someone to table this.
The
Motion to table?
Second. There's a second to table it.
Second.
Roll call. This is the motion, you're just voting now whether or not to table this.
Councilman Bialy?
Yes.
Councilman Knapp?
Yes.
Councilman Levy?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Van Eck?
Yes.
All right, so this is tabled once again. And so you're saying it should go on to work session?
What I would like is both ordinance, this code 805 and the other, Rich, I don't remember if it was given a designation, it was listed on work session at the last meeting,
Yeah,
February 19th.
I'm not sure we assigned a number to it yet.
Right, but those both should be
Those
listed
both.
on work session.
Okay.
Well, if you go back in the computer to the last
That means
meeting,
I would have to go and
I'd have to
press the
scroll
button.
down
We're gonna have a little work session after this.
on using this computer. Okay, this is a very big topic, very important, so we have time here to really get into this. Solid waste collection bid.
Okay.
You're
Mayor-
on.
Mayor, thank you. We wanted to talk about this. You may be wondering why now in early March that we're doing this. So a little bit of background. Our current collection contract expires at the end of 2020. But however, there is a changing market out there in terms of the level of competition and cost increases that towns are seeing when they've been going back out to bid. Something along the lines of what we experienced 3 years ago. And there's a relatively long lead time when you bid solid waste collection services. There's a 60-day mandatory advertising period, and we want to give ourselves plenty of time to be able to do that, consider our options, and see where we're at and make adjustments if necessary. So we started discussing this internally back in January, looking at specifically what we're offering now and what the market's like, how we may be able to generate some cost savings, or at least some cost avoidance in the next bid round. We had a meeting a little over a week ago or so with our current hauler and asked him basically if he had any ideas of how we could restructure the bid, or how he could restructure the service that would potentially help us avoid some cost increases going forward. And I thought it was a very fruitful discussion. So I'm going to kind of recap, and everybody else that was there, feel free to chime in. So currently on the garbage collection side, as you know, in the last round of bidding, we went back to twice a week year-round. And with recycling, we moved from single stream to a dual stream pickup system with alternating weeks for commingled and paper. So the discussion really tonight is to talk about the different options that we will bid out, the different alternatives that we will put and seek pricing on in the bid specification itself. So one of the main things that came out of our discussion was to consider, I guess what they call in the industry the one-armed bandits. You've probably seen them. There are a lot of other states where they're very popular. I think they're probably rather widely used, more so than perhaps in this area down in Central and South Jersey, where the garbage truck has one person in the cab. There's a mechanical arm that comes out and picks up the garbage can and dumps it. That would likely help mitigate cost increases or save us money operationally due to the fact that there's a lot less labor involved. And that was one of the main items that we've identified as something that's leading to cost increases in the industry as they try to keep up with the minimum wage increases that New Jersey started to implement last year, that there's a certain amount above that that haulers are going to need to pay to attract qualified people to do that job. So that's something we may want to consider. So I think maybe we bid it out on the garbage side at twice a week like we have now. And I think that we, at least to get pricing, consider an arrangement like we had last time where it's twice a week in the winter, once a week in the summertime.
I'll do it the other way around.
I'm sorry, flip backwards, I'm sorry, flip that. And I think that we consider getting pricing for this automated system as well.
Yeah, because we have to buy the garbage cans.
We would have to buy the garbage cans, we already have some pricing on that to do that, and that would get factored in. If we get that pricing, we can factor in the capital cost and see if it makes sense over the life of the contract or not. But just to, so these one-arm Bandit cans are 96 gallons, or about 3 times the size and capacity of the normal garbage cans.
They have wheels?
I believe they have wheels.
Yes.
Yes.
I was saying that my
Do they have
son,
motors?
No motors.
my son in Texas has this.
They do it down the shore too.
And
They do, yeah.
they are big garbage pails.
Yeah, they're 96 gallons. You wouldn't need twice a week collection with that. The capacity of those cans are going to be more than enough for your average family of 4 or 5, what have you. So under that scenario of one-armed bandits, we'd be looking at once a week collection. It wouldn't really be cost effective, I think, to do it twice. And we would need to separate out and do something differently with our bulky waste collection. Right now, we offer a very high level of service with that. Basically, it's every garbage pickup. You can put out bulky waste. We wouldn't be able to continue doing that if we're going to an automated system rather. We would have to schedule pickups, whether it's bi-weekly or weekly or some frequency like that, that we can seek pricing on. We also want to separate out the yard waste program and just find out exactly what that aspect of our program costs. And we talked about recycling, and Councilman Talamini had a suggestion to look into if we could basically have the dual stream collection, but every week, so you can do your commingled and your paper every single week. That would, in essence, double the cost of the program.
Why can't we go back to single stream again?
Because right now, it costs more to dispose of single stream than it costs to dispose of garbage. The current disposal rate on single stream is about $80 a ton. There's no advantage to doing it.
And what are we paying for dual stream?
Right now, it's costing us between, call it about $35 a ton.
Oh, substantial.
So if I may make it, there were so many options that we were given. I mean, a lot of options between the so-called one-armed bandit, buying the garbage pails for the first year, and then the cost will decrease. We have that. The option is a 2 pickup versus the 1 pickup. Do we do 1 pickup year-round if we have the big garbage pails? Do we do the 2 in the summer, 1 in the winter? Do we spend the money on the recycling and improve the recycling, the yard waste, the bulk? So my suggestion is there are so many different options. You said you finally have the cost of the garbage pails.
Yeah.
And he really didn't give us many different real price numbers.
And he won't. It's up to us to kind of put in the alternates that we want in the bid and go out to the market and get pricing.
So I think what we need is a chart, the comparison, because there are just so many options of what we could do to garbage. Now, we really don't get many, if any, bids. I mean, that's the problem. So
There's no competition.
There really isn't.
Excuse me, are we getting to the point where we may want to do our own garbage collection?
No. Did you hear us? Did you hear that?
No, I want to hear the numbers.
I can tell you that
Mawa tried to, and then they just rescinded it. They're gonna reconsider it because the initial impact on your budget, I think it's about a $10 million initial impact to buy the trucks, and they can put together a whole new employment
Yeah.
structure?
Pompton Lakes does it.
Well, yeah, so if I may, Mawa did put a pause on theirs because they had a follow-up conversation with their hauler as well. And they may seek pricing again with the one-armed bandits and price it out compared to what their internal cost estimates were. So towns that do it on their own, Pompton Lakes being one of them, I've worked for towns that did it in-house. You basically center your entire DPW operation around the fact that you have in-house garbage collection. It's how you deploy your resources, your garbage trucks become snowplows in the winter. You know, everything kind of gets worked around the fact that you're collecting garbage. When we looked at it in the past, it didn't make financial sense. It was actually cheaper to go out to the army. Now, costs have come up over the last couple of contract rounds. You know, that there's probably not as much of a spread as there used to be. There are some operational and logistical issues that would need to be, spend some serious effort trying to work out in terms of just space utilization of the facility, staffing needs, and, you know, a multitude of
And
things.
as
there.
Anthony said, if it's garbage pickup day, and it's also a day that we need substantial plowing, garbage pickup supersedes the plowing.
Well, that doesn't, if we have a substantial snowstorm, garbage doesn't get picked up anyway sometimes.
There have been occasions where they've had to call it off. I'm just saying that it's
What I'm trying to say is, if nothing else, it may be a negotiating tool. Because if the
There's no
whole,
negotiating tool. There's no
except,
negotiating with the garbage companies.
unless he
with
realizes
money.
he could lose everything.
well, you can't negotiate the price. The price is
No.
the price. Either you award
No.
the bid or you don't. Okay.
The other thing that was
There's
interesting-
nothing that prevents us from studying the issue
Right.
and refreshing pricing on what we think it would cost us to do it in-house.
I would study
To
it
have
publicly, very publicly.
But it's not a negotiated bid. It's, you get the price and you decide where it is, where you don't.
The other thing that was interesting that I learned from that meeting was the difference between the actual, the distance of hauling and the price. There could be
Yes.
one price for one thing, and there's so much, that's why I said we need to get a comparison chart. So, when do we have to make a decision for our garbage pickup for next?
Well, I'd like to get out the bid as quickly as possible, to give us the most time possible to consider the bid pricing that we get. And how
But
we
you have
want
to give
proceed.
everybody options. You have to give them a chart of different options so we could discuss
Okay,
it.
I mean, I talked about them, but I can put them into a chart and.
Linda
send
loves
them
those
out.
charts.
Well, it's the only way to really figure out the best way. There's so many options.
Well, there's not a lot of options, because only one guy apparently wants to bid on it.
No, there are options on what we pay for.
Right.
We're paying him. There's no two ways about
I
it.
know, I know.
All right, so that'll be,
All right, you want me to put, I'll put.
A chart of some
You know what, I'll
sort.
put together a chart with some staff recommendations, and we'll put it on. the
and
next
what we
workshop.
have now and what we're paying for
And a
now.
video if you could, John.
You know,
You don't want to see
Something
that.
with
Color-coded.
HD.
You know, I'm into
HD.
color-coded.
So just my 2 cents on the one-armed bandit. That, my folks have that in Florida too. That's
Oh.
a massive can.
Yeah, it's big.
And we are loaded with hills. So I wonder, that
We
thing's
asked
on,
him, didn't we ask
on
him?
a hill, is it gonna,
We did ask him, he thought that it would be feasible here in
and what
town.
about locations where the terrain just doesn't line up for that thing to scoop it? Does that guy get out of the truck and line it up?
Line it up, yeah.
Yes, people have to learn how to line up. That is a problem. You have to put the garbage pail specifically lined up.
Certain way?
Yes.
Yeah, and there is a smaller can option. There is a 64-gallon can, which is the equivalent of, 2 regular garbage cans, if you will, and that's a pretty large volume in and of itself.
Yeah, it might be easier for senior citizens in particular to navigate a 64-gallon than a 90.
There's a senior citizen, he would know.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're gonna pass that out. This way we're gonna have an
I'll
educated
bring it up
discussion.
at the next,
Disabled
meeting.
people.
Okay. Any new business?
Too much to handle.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to bring up the fact that our broadcasting, this program right here, is very low quality on Cablevision. It's, in my opinion, unwatchable, and it is a detriment to our residents who want to enjoy our programming on our local access, Channel 77, the council meetings, and anything else we might want to put up and expand and improve on. At the current resolution, it's very, very difficult. It would be nice if we could do something to bring us up to the industry standard, at the very least. So we actually downgrade the output for Cablevision, where Verizon would put us at 720. We currently downgrade and send to both Cablevision and Verizon at a lower resolution, when 1080 has almost become an industry standard, but 720 I think would be a minimum, a compromise to have much more watchable for our residents and for anybody enjoying. I'm getting nods here in the audience, which is great.
Yeah, but no, what, your predecessor liaison never brought this up to us.
But we spoke about it
Well, I don't
last
think,
year.
I'm not worried about predecessors or liaisons, Mayor.
So this is
I
the
think-
first time we're really
No,
talking
it's all
about
good.
it.
No, Rich, good.
If I can, last year it was one of the capital projects that was
Yes.
deferred
Yes.
for cost reasons. We have had a couple of meetings with members of the OCC on this project. It is going to be included in this year's capital plan for your consideration.
And I think they
No,
put
no,
together
no.
a wish list.
I'm talking about just the resolution in which we're broadcasted on Cablevision. We could put an output right now better than what people are seeing currently, hello out there, on TV, but we actually downgrade it because that's what they broadcast at. So if we could, if Cablevision, or all T's now, what's up?
No, I was gonna say, I think, because you and I talked about this, I think what Councilman Van Eck is talking about, and if I may.
Please, because I don't know.
No, it's, the fault is not, is not necessarily with us, the fault is with Cablevision.
Correct.
They assign, and I'm not a technical, don't say a word, I'm not a technical guy. I see him, he's gonna say something. But they choose to broadcast us at a very low resolution, and it may be because of some constraints of our equipment or not. I think
Yes.
anybody back there would probably know better than I would.
Here they come.
Here comes
There they
somebody
come.
now.
I hear a
Thank
squeaking.
God.
I hear a squeaking door.
It's like you're looking through a muddy screen
So-
to see what's on TV.
Why don't we have Ryan come up and give us a little, and Ryan, we spoke about this last year.
Yes.
And you had a wish
This is
list
a violation
that
of the
we
new bylaws.
spoke about, including cameras.
Yes.
So Ryan, explain
Very
to us,
quickly,
if you
a
would,
summary.
why Cablevision broadcasts us so poorly.
So there's different, what Grant was trying to allude to is that there's different dimensions that go out for a signal. So when you had your old TVs, it was what's called 480, which is when you get the perfect square. The newer TVs are 1080, that's the nice
This
wide
is the
screen.
industry standard.
Correct, 1080 is HD, that's what almost all the TVs are made for now. The cable companies for local access, especially Cablevision, say that we will only broadcast in 480, which is your standard definition. Now, part of the problem is that the cameras are old and it will only do standard definition.
Right.
Oh, fine.
So that is already part of the problem. But even if we upgraded the cameras, it would look better on Verizon. It would look better when we live stream on YouTube. It would look better if we live stream the whole channel. But if you're watching on Cablevision, you would still get the same small square picture because they are not willing to give us 720, which is kind of a middle ground, which is
So would people be able to see it on both?
correct.
Verizon
You would
and
still be
cable.
able to
Yes.
watch on Cablevision and on Fios, but Fios you would see a slight improvement. If you watched online, it would be day and night difference. But on 480, you might be able to tell it's got a little better, but it's still going to be that same small
Got it.
square
Well,
picture.
that was a great explanation.
And-
I understood, thank you.
And Ryan, the quality of the cameras that we're using, which are how old?
I think it's either this year or next year they're turning 20 years old.
20 years old. So if we improved the cameras as well, we would have a much better product going out.
Yes, even if nothing happened with Cablevision, we changed the cameras and made them
Right.
better, you would notice that they are improved. But it's still going to look not what you would expect, I'll put it that way. What you were picturing in your mind as to, oh, it's going to look so much better. On Cablevision, it would just a little better, Verizon a little bit better, and then much better.
And
on-
what
Will
would
we
it
be
do?
able to see ourselves so that we know where the camera is?
But
Completely different issue.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
a
that's a
different issue.
different-
This is what
totally
we're
Is there
sending
any-
out.
Ryan, have you ever had any conversation with Cablevision about this?
We've asked Cablevision and we've talked to Fios, can we send you a better signal? Fios essentially, Verizon Fios essentially told us, you can send us whatever good quality you want, the most that we'll broadcast is 720.
Okay.
So,
When we talk to Cablevision, they only want us to send 480.
Why?
So,
hold on
That's
a
a great
second.
question.
so I think.
So that's what we
So
don't know
hold on,
exactly
hold on.
why.
So Ryan,
And we want to find out why.
right now, if we sent both Cablevision and Verizon 720, they could broadcast what we have in 720 if they accept
No,
it.
cable says
No,
no.
Cablevision would
No,
not.
no, no,
I'm saying.
but say they agreed to it,
Yes,
we could send 720,
yes.
and it would look better, it'd be more watchable than it is now,
Yes.
even without a camera upgrade, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I think what I'm bringing up tonight, that's what I was trying to get to, is if we could pass a resolution saying that we would like Cablevision to put Oakland TV to the industry standard, so we can, for the benefit of our residents.
720 what?
Because that's what it's about. It's about the people watching.
Cycles? Cycles?
No, it's.
He said cycles.
Standard.
Industry standard.
I'm listening to Pat.
So that's the reason I'm bringing this up.
Why don't we
But
push
Ryan, would that in
It'll
fact
handle it
cause
separately.
Cablevision to
Boom.
create the 720 basic for every community they service?
That's something I'm not exactly sure. I know that's something we'd have to look into.
Not every
From
town
what-
does what we do.
Correct. From what I understand, maybe we can try bringing it up with Cablevision directly and see if they would be willing to change. And speaking with Fred Burks, who was our former control room engineer, he thinks it might be something that if Cablevision says no to, it might have to go to the BPU and have them see if they can put some pressure on Cablevision to do that for all of the towns.
So what
But we
I,
need new equipment.
no,
We don't need new equipment to do that.
we don't.
No.
But when we get, when we get new equipment, it would be even better. So what I'm proposing is that we have a resolution for Cablevision to provide us a broadcast at the industry standard for the benefit of the residents of Oakland.
Do we need a resolution or just a letter from our attorney?
No, you would need a resolution.
The fact that they're in Oakland, you think that they would.
Right.
They're hard to.
I think we should do that.
You want to speak?
Yes, I think we should resolve to ask Cablevision to go stop screwing around and give us 720.
All right, but you're not writing the letter, Brian is.
No, resolution.
We're doing a
Resolution.
resolution.
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna resolve.
Yes.
Any other questions
That's
on
it.
here?
Thank you, Ryan.
All right,
You
very
explained
well.
it very nicely.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Okay.
We good?
So, our next meeting, resolution. Any old business?
Yes.
Oh,
Rich, going back, that doesn't take away our plans for improving our equipment.
Two completely separate things.
Old business.
yes.
Mr. Yekemic,
Sir?
could you give us an update on the traffic study?
We received accounts from the county of Bergen, I believe, last week.
So they did it.
So they did it. But they're not, no recommendations, just traffic counts.
Okay, so now what do we do with those traffic counts?
We communicate with the county and we ask them what are their recommendations for improvements.
Okay.
It's that simple.
Well then, do we need a resolution for that or just?
No.
No.
No, it's just follow-up.
Does the rest of the council agree we should follow that up?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, otherwise we wouldn't have bothered.
That's why we did it.
Well, I don't want to presume anything. But
Okay,
would you
Thank
kindly do
you.
that, Jen?
Myself and the borough administrator will take care of it.
thank you. Any other old business?
Wait, the other, yeah, I have two
Oh,
other items.
Whoa,
Route 287, the sign for the hill for the, coming down.
I composed a draft letter about 2-3 weeks ago. I circulated it to Rich and to the police chief. Received some minor comments back from Rich. I just took care of those minor comments now. I have not received any comments from the chief. So we're going to send it. And basically the letter puts forth our argument why we believe that this signage is necessary. We interpret the study that Gary Asseles did and we put forth our concerns. And we also asked for a meeting with the DOT down in Trenton, and I'll be more than happy to go down there to meet with them face to face.
Again, as an example, the sign on Route 23, the hill coming in Riverdale, it's got that big sign, trucks shift to lower gear. I forget what else it says on the sign. I think that's important because the trucks, right, Bob? I mean, come down that hill pretty fast around that bend, right?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's a matter of them shifting the lower gear, but they just need to be made aware of the incline and the bend.
Yeah, there's currently one very small sign up in Wanacue on the side of the road that nobody really pays attention to that says, you know, steep grade ahead.
Well, this sign in Riverdale has got to be 30 by 20 feet.
It's big.
It's
It's
big.
very big.
Yeah, well, yellow flashing lights on it too.
Even I noticed it.
Yeah. It's
So, again, to recap, we're going to finalize the letter tomorrow, we're going to send it out to the DOT, and the follow-up is to have a meeting with this down in Trenton if we don't get the response that we feel we should get.
Remind them that they came here and took a bus ride
That was.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
a while ago.
So I won't suppose that they might not cooperate. I'm going to hope that they do, and then if they don't, I'll ask you what our next step would be.
We're going to DOT Trenton.
Third, Skyline Drive, the safety, I don't know what you call them, grooves in the road. Any update on that from the county?
Unfortunately, no update. As you know, we had a fatality there last year, very serious. We've talked with the county. The county responded that, yes, they agreed they need to do some efforts there. However, they didn't give any timetable. So I think what I'm suggesting is that we just simply meet with them.
Mm-hmm.
And we can meet with them to talk about the traffic study of the downtown, to firm that up, get that gelled. And the second topic will be the measures, the safety measures on Skyline Drive. And it's always helpful to bring the police and to have them come
I
there.
thought they
so.
committed to doing that.
I'm sorry?
I thought they committed to doing the rumble strips on the yellow line and the white lines.
They did, but we haven't seen them yet.
Well, it's been winter, so I mean,
Is it
maybe it's a
because it's
spring project.
it's inter-county?
No, because Passaic County's done already.
Yeah,
Passaic County has done it.
So they don't need any permission or any kind of agreement with Passaic?
No, they don't. So when I follow up with them with the traffic study, that will be the.
Do you think we need the chief of police to go with you?
If I don't get a favorable response, yes. Because this has been a while, it's been several months
There hasn't
now.
been any more fatalities.
No
but
fatalities, but yes.
There
There's
could be
always
one
accidents.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be morbid, but there could be one tomorrow.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Any others?
That's it on my old business,
That's
thank
it?
you.
You sure?
That's it, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Just want to
Check
see if
the
there's,
list.
there's any update on the West Oakland Avenue exit situation with Walgreens.
yes, I was talking with Brian Rowan, and I sent them some emails just now. They met with the property owner agreed to install the signs. There was some confusion on the signs on 202, but basically the resolution of approval from the planning board, Joe Russo forwarded to us, specifically states that all exits coming out of that complex must have a sign directing people to go to the right to get to 287. Rather than cross 2 or 3 lanes of traffic and make illegal left turns. Some are illegal, but the ones that are illegal, you're taking your life in your hands when you're trying to make that left.
You still make a left turn to go onto 202 North.
Right, so what we're saying is for our out-of-town guests, this is what I brought up at the meeting, is that we're trying to direct people who are coming out of Walgreens on West Oakland Avenue to go right to hit 287 north and south, instead of trying to make a left, and that left on West Oakland Ave backs up, especially during rush hour, to make another left to go onto 202 north. If we're directing our out-of-town
Might
guests to make the
eliminate
right, then they're going down to the end of West Oakland past Segovia's to try to get onto the
They need a
highway.
wider entrance exit over there, which is why.
It's very narrow.
That's why the new development, the new strip mall, that's That was the focus.
We think it
Okay.
should cut down traffic significantly
Okay.
if that goes in and people follow the signs.
Any other old
So-
business?
So it's in the
All
hands of the
business.
police.
You have old business?
Oh, business, I just want to bring up, I had a conversation right before I get my getaway for R&R, and I took it away and I R&R'd on it. And it was a conversation I had with Councilman Pignatelli last week, if you remember. We met over the ShopRite
Yes,
parking lot.
yes.
And I thought about it, and I thought it had good potential, and I chatted with another councilman, and that also, and I just want to reconvene the senior citizen rental use issue, and just talk about what we had proposed and making some changes in that proposal, and just taking it to Ariel and asking Ariel to ask the seniors,
Right.
as Pat had indicated, he spoke to a few seniors. I'd like to hear from a broader
Sample?
sample of the seniors that use the building, just to see how much, if the prize of getting more programs, many more trips would offset the use, which may cause some irreparable damage. And I already thought about the alcohol bit, and I think we should just take the alcohol off the table, if that was to be considered again. But that's me, but we have a group, myself, the mayor, Ariel, and Rich. If we can reconvene on that again,
I thought you were
Rich?
going to do that. I thought the mayor reported that last time.
Yes, it's not over.
It's not a do.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, we're still.
it's not, I'll be talking with Ariel, and I think next week, we're gonna have a little conversation in-house, and then we'll, have a little bit of a larger discussion and discuss
But I
some of
did-
the topics that council had brought up last time.
But I did get some feedback of people who heard us talking about it and just the discussion of it. And I've been told by so many people that we cannot let people rent the building without somebody from the town being there.
Yeah.
Either we have to hire somebody or we have to give a stipend to somebody.
Yeah, I think council was
yes.
clear on their desire
Yes.
to have a program in place for that.
Okay, we'll set that up, Rich.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other old business? All right, committee reports. We'll start with Councilman Van Eck.
Okay, so the Oakland Communications Commission is looking for volunteers on the TV committee and the newsletter committee, so email occ@oakland-nj.org. Any story ideas for our newsletter, please email oaklandcrossroads@gmail.com, and the next meeting is on May 4th at 7:30 p.m.
May.
As I said, May 4th.
May.
Is that what I said?
Yeah,
Okay.
not April.
May the 4th be with you.
Okay. Just checking, because we skipped a whole month.
Okay. It's every other month.
Oh, okay.
The Communications Commission. For the recreation, the softball signups are still ongoing. Football and cheerleading signups begin on April 1st. And as always, go online for any information, oaklandrec.org. The planning board meeting is tomorrow night, right here. And then the following 2 months, April and May, they're moving the meeting up a week to the first Thursday of the month. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman?
Yes, Mayor. Senior report, line dancing will continue in February on Friday, the 20th, with our volunteer instructor Edith at 2 p.m. There is no pre-registration as this is a drop-in class. The weekly Monday movie schedule continues at 1:30 on Mondays. The movie for Monday, March 16th will be La La Land, starring Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. A flyer with the weekly movie day schedule is available at the Senior Center and is also available on the Borough website. The Senior Center will be hosting a trivia game on March 25th at 1:30 p.m. The canceled December casino trip to Wind Creek Casino in Bethlehem has been rescheduled for Tuesday, March 31st. Those who registered for the trip in December 2019 are already registered for the March date. Ariel will be reaching out to those previously registered to confirm their attendance, and there are still seats available on the bus, which will leave the Senior Center at 9 a.m. on the 31st of March. Anyone interested can call Ariel or visit her at the Senior Center. Our number there is 201-405-7731, and the cost for this trip is $12. We are currently taking names of those interested in a weekly men's poker game, as well as taking names of those interested in weekly knitting and crocheting circles. A time will be scheduled when enough interest is shown. Bingo will be held on March 19th at 1:30, and there will be a planting and wood crafting project with our men's club on Tuesday, March 17th at 1 p.m. Those interested are asked to RSVP by March 13th in order to allow time to purchase supplies. On DPW, the 2020 street sweeping program began on Monday, March 2nd, and every borough-owned road is scheduled to receive the first of 2 mandated annual street cleanings before the end of April. Additionally, all school routes, borough-owned parking lots, the downtown area, along with the roadways directly connected to the municipal plaza and recreation complex will be swept on a monthly basis. We have taken advantage of Rockland Electric's LED conversion by installing more than 80 fixtures since the program began at 2/16, and we are now asking residents for suggestions of locations to be considered. With the help from the residents, along with recommendations from our police department, the Public Works Committee is scheduled to submit their 2020 list of 17 free streetlight upgrades to Rockland Electric before the end of the month. Suggestions can be sent by email to Superintendent Marcuselli at dpw@oakland-nj.org or by calling 201-337-8103, extension 3003. The Public Works crews have begun this year's continuous pothole repair program. Residents are reminded to report known pothole locations by filling out a service request on the borough website or by calling the Public Works Service Building directly at 201-337-8104. Due to the mild winter, we are currently enjoying the Water Department employees are able to get an early start on work associated with the NJDEP Water Quality Accountability Act. You may notice DPW crews out flushing and inspecting fire hydrants, exercising mainline valves, and making general water system repairs throughout our borough. We want the residents to understand that this work will in no way affect the quality or cause a disruption in their water service. And thanks again to Anthony and the entire DPW crew for the work they do.
Did you time it?
That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Pignatelli?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Lee Lydecker. Lee has been a member of the American Legion for 75 years.
Wow.
He is one of the 350,000 World War II veterans.
Wow.
And he has been a member of the American Legion for 75 years.
Wow.
What a man, what a man, what a
And he
constitution.
still
Yes, what a
does the
constitution.
beekeeping.
Still does the beekeeping. Still attends our meetings. He's a
Excellent.
wonderful man. He really is. So shout out to you, Lee. Thank you for 75 years service to the
And thank you for
American
your
Legion.
service to the country.
Yes.
We salute you, Lee.
Yes, again, I'm going to remind residents about the 2020 Bergen County Utilities Authority Household Hazardous Waste Collection events. The first one is Saturday, oh no, we passed already, Saturday, March 7th, we passed.
We did.
So that was, next one is November 14th.
No, we have one in May, right, Pat?
Yes. Next one is April. April the 5th is going to be at Bergen Community College. And May 9th is going to be in Mawa at Camp Corps. From 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Do not bring electronics, paper shredding, or tires to the hazardous waste collection. But you can bring paint, old gasoline, herbicides, pesticides. I even think they collect fluorescent bulbs. But excellent service, so we don't put this into the environment in an incorrect way. From the Public Events Committee, I was unable to attend the meeting Monday because I had CPR recertification at first aid.
And were you certified?
Yes, I was
Good.
certified, yes. So Memorial Day Parade is on May 24th at 1 p.m. The Carnival is June 10th through the 13th. Fireworks are going to be Friday at 10 p.m. This year there will be no advanced ticket sales. Wednesday through Thursday is $25, and Friday and Saturday is $30. Green Team, congratulations.
Pat, why did they stop doing advance ticket sales? Was it not profitable?
I think it had to do with the timing of
Timing, yeah.
fireworks.
Timing of the fireworks. Congratulations to the Green Team. They did receive the Roots for Rivers grant, so they will be planting more trees and shrubs. The Environmental Commission, Ryan Schwartzberger presented the dog park plan to the Environmental Commission. They had some additional suggestions. Rich, you have anything more in that discussion? No. The Easter egg hunt is going to be April the 4th. The bouncy house is at 9 a.m. The egg hunt is going to start at 9:30 this year. Rain date is going to be Sunday, April the 5th, but the time on Sunday is going to be at 1 p.m. So just a little bit different.
You going in the bouncy house?
No, I'm handing out oranges that day.
Are there oranges going in the bouncy house?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor.
I said councilman, I said councilman.
Well, no, but I didn't have my little blue light on, and I didn't want Bob to have like a fit or something here. He's like the microphone Gestapo. Pat, shut yours off. So the Oakland Shade Tree Committee met on the first Monday of the month. We're continuing to work on the resolution to revise our shade tree ordinances. We did give Mr. Kuntz about 3 or 4 trees that had to be emergency takedowns. From Mawa Tree was awarded the contract, I believe.
I believe DPW is in the process of doing appeal.
So those will be coming down shortly.
Mawat tree,
They want a low bid.
we use them, they're very good.
Yes. Tony, am I forgetting anything else? Am I forgetting anything else for shade tree?
You forget a lot.
What?
You forget a lot.
I know, but I mean now.
Did everybody hear that?
That's why I'm asking you.
No, I think you covered it.
Okay. So the
You
shade.
think I'm the only one that forgets?
So the
I
Shade
forget
Tree
a lot,
Committee will
too.
be meeting on the first Monday of the month at Borough Hall at 7 o'clock. And the Oakland Flood Commission met this last Monday. And some of the topics that were discussed were the completion of Allerman Brook, which is completed.
Excuse me, Councilman. On Alaman Brook, at the wall that was replaced, on the property on the corner, there are 3 or 4 sonotubes. What is that going to be for?
They're putting.
Oh, that's for her,
billboard
Carrie
up.
Brugger's fence.
Oh, no, not a billboard. Fence.
No, it's for her, Carrie Brugger's putting up a fence there.
All right, just asking.
And it was suggested to her that they wait until after the winter so they didn't sink anything and it started to heave up.
I didn't know if it had any connection to the wall or not.
No, it was, the sonotubes are there to prevent anybody from digging and disturbing the dirt, but now it's all settled
Okay,
anyway. We
thank
were
you.
concerned that they may start to.
Thank you.
Somebody may try to dig
The
do
microphone.
damage. We also discussed, what else did we discuss at Flood Committee? I'm so glad you're here, this makes it easy.
I mentioned.
Oh,
that-
CRS,
I mentioned that the Shade Tree Commission is planting trees on that corner piece of property.
yes.
Right by the bridge.
So some of those properties where we had to take, where trees came down, we're gonna replace some trees, where we did Alaman Brook. And then on Flood Commission, which met this last Monday, we also discussed how the Flood Commission can get more involved with CRS. And we're in the process of setting up a meeting with Anthony and Mike Pritchard from the Flood Commission to work with Nick Agnoli, our CRS.
Don't you have to have a meeting? Doesn't that help with points?
That's part of it, yes. So we're gonna set up a meeting with Nick Agnoli to discuss what things the Flood Commission can do to work with, from the town side, so that we can continue to get a better rating. As most people who have paid flood insurance are aware, we got a rating of 5, it got us a 15% discount, and then the National Flood Insurance Program promptly put a 15% surcharge on flood insurance policies. So we need to continue to do better to get more, to try and get some reduction in flood
Thank
insurance. And I guess we, just so that residents know on sewer and water, part of what we approved tonight was a revised water management plan, which is gonna help us get those pumps, or those treatment plants that are up on Skyview and whatnot offline and turn those into actual sewers. We did meet with the DEP a few weeks, about 3-4 weeks ago, Rich?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
about 4 weeks ago, and they did give us permission. They said it would be a de minimis change in our water allocation. They would let us, if we modified our wastewater management plan, we could at least start to do this phase 1, which is get those Skyview plants offline and get some relief to those residents, because they've got odor problems, they've got financial problems from the cost of running those treatment plants. So this is gonna be the first step to, starting to get those properties, I guess about 262 of them, sewered properly. And I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Councilman.
Oh, and this for Councilman Knapp.
Thank you, Pat. I needed this at the beginning of the meeting, but I guess better late than never.
Right, thank you.
All right. 2 quick things. Last night, Finance Committee had a meeting, and we are still working on putting the budget together. And at the next council meeting, is it March 25th, I believe, we will be introducing the budget here. We will,
I thought that was November 20th.
I've asked, no, that's March, it's always in March. I've asked,
Thank you.
I've asked the CFO to come that night and give a presentation to the residents. It may have been done in the past, I can't remember it being done, but I think it would be prudent to educate everyone on not only the budget process, but some of the constraints we have, some of the requirements that we have no options of.
Are we gonna do a PowerPoint?
It's going, well,
No, but there will be a chart.
we'll make sure there's a chart for you, but it will be a PowerPoint. Yes, it'll be on the screens, but more importantly, David will be here to talk to it. And I think it'll just help educate everyone in the town. I mean, there's a lot of people that say a lot of things, especially on Facebook, and I really don't think they have a lot of the background knowledge that's involved in this. This is my first year on the actual finance committee, and I'm learning quite a bit. So, yeah, thanks, Lou. I just think it would be prudent for the borough residents to see it. So I asked David to do that, and he's prepared and more than willing to. So I think that's going to be good.
That's part of his job.
The other thing, last night again, after that meeting, and a quick 10-minute run home for dinner, we had our OEM meeting, and the mayor was there, Rich was there. And for the most part, Roy went over, the standard things. They're looking to do another Skyline Drive cleanup this year. He has some drill requirements. They're going to work on some drills, tabletop drills to start with the police department, and all the emergency services for active shooter type drills. And then, of course, a lot of it was spent on coronavirus and what's going on in the area. So that was pretty much the end of the meeting. We'll have like 1 or 2 more OEM meetings throughout the year. And that's my council report.
Thank you. So at this time, motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You've been so quiet.
Vic Pedalino, 52 McNolly Street. Real quick, just so I understand, the 2 ordinances, the older ordinance, which is 5949B3, and the new one about the short-term rentals, they've been tabled for a second time because there's more information is needed, or?
Yeah, what happened is that I wasn't at the last meeting, and I know Councilman Van Eck had some questions and the like. We did communicate before that meeting and after the meeting. What it was determined prior to this evening was probably to put those both back on for a work session, which we did. My goal is to hopefully introduce the zoning ordinance on March 25th, but it's up to the council. It'll be listed on work session, and we'll see if we get it to.
The zoning ordinance is the?
Is the one with the border, outlaw the borders. There's another definition of family And there was one other part to it, I don't have it in front of me, but there were 3 distinct changes.
And on the other one, they're still looking at the Franklin Lakes?
The Franklin Lakes ordinance is what was presented to the governing body. Councilman Van Eck had some suggestions that you may want to regulate rather than ban. It's been done in other communities, but it's up to discussion amongst the governing body. That's what we're going to bring back on the 25th.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name's Jerry Angermuller from 24 Lakeview Terrace in Oakland, and I'm glad to hear you mentioned the Green Flow Film Festival that's going on, Franklin Lakes, Oakland, and Wyckoff. I think that's a good example of the kind of thing that Sustainable Jersey and the ANJEC, the Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions, the kind of things they support. They support the collection of styrofoam and paper shredding. They really don't force anybody into doing anything. They're really a support. I think they were involved with getting the garbage receptacles, the split ones in Stewart Woods, I believe was part of a grant, if I remember correctly, that they have trash and recyclable garbage. So that's the kind of thing that the Sustainable Jersey would help. It really has been a help over the years. So along with the films, that we have another event coming up on March 22nd. It's a Sunday afternoon at the library. The Oakland Historical Society is having a friend of ours speak. Van is an attorney and a historian, and he has this fantastic story of the evolution of the American flag. He has all these little flags here and explains how it is that we come to have the flag that we have today. There was a decision at one point saying it should be red, white, and blue with stripes and stars, and some places made red, white, and blue stripes and then put the star in the grid. So there are all kinds of different versions and things like that. So they're all interesting tidbits at 2 o'clock, March 22nd, Sunday afternoon at the library. And we'll hope to have other speakers come. We have somebody who knows all about the Nike systems in Mawa up in the mountains, and we'll have him come and speak at some point.
That's great.
Wanted to let you know what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bills be paid. Our councilman.
So resolution 3-11-2020, bills already paid, $303,234.28. Bills to be paid, $317,069.98. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Van Eck.
Yes.
And is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned. The next meeting will be held right here, March 25th. And remember, just take precautions out there. Thank you.
Remember, we redoing this. I want to show you something. If you bring this.
I couldn't find it. I had it before.
And yet you just
I know.
jumped it.